Between the years when the oceans drank Atlantis. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're checking out Conan the Barbarian from Mezco Toys in their Static 6 line. So this is a statue of the poster from the original film. Whoa! And try to give you a decent look at that whole thing. Mezco Toys by collectors for collectors. And there we have the original poster. Close look at Valeria. Conan. And the reverse side of the box. Mezco Static 6. Conan the Barbarian features. And some of the images on the other side as well. That looks tough. Valeria. Close up of Valeria. And that's the base that we saw on the intro. That emerald piece is removable and it attaches via magnet. Just want to look at his eyes real quick. Yeah, really nice dead center on the image here. Very cool. And on the other side panel, we've got the same poster. All right, I've got the statue already set up. Let's take a look. We've got the statue here set up with some action figures so you can get a sense of the scale. From the base of the statue to the tip of the Atlantean, it's 26 inches. And the diameter of the base, inclusive of the outside of his knuckle there, is about 8.5 inches. And I've got the statue here set up on a little rolling table so we can get an impression for what it looks like at all angles. The sculpting is absolutely sick. The striations and all the muscles. Look at the elbow there and the wrinkle around, or all the wrinkles around his elbow. Striations in the muscles. You got his veins. You've got that bone sticking out there by his wrist. Sick. The striations in his delts right there. Beautifully sculpted hair. Wrinkles there in the lower part of his back. I mean, absolutely marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. The Atlantean sword. We'll take a close look at all of that. When we were looking at the box at the opening of the video, I looked closely because I wanted to see the placement of the eyes. And I feel like my left eye here is just a little bit off center. I'm not sure. Could be wrong. We've got the Wheel of Pain. That is a separate accessory. Here on the abdomen, there seems to be a little bit of an aberration here with sculpting or painting right here, this little piece. Just to point that out and be fair. But otherwise, these are veins. It is an absolutely stellar sculpt. The profile of his physique here on the forearms, it just is identical to the poster. Absolutely magnificent, bro. Absolutely magnificent. At Valeria, and I'm just blown away by the paints. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. The paints on this are brilliantly applied. Look at the subtleness of the pink on her lips. Absolutely amazing. The subtle variations in flesh tone, reds, pinks. And weathered leather there with the rivets. Sculpting on her hair. Absolutely wonderful. Conan, more veins in the legs, rippling muscles. You've got the scabbard there for the sword. It is not, it doesn't have an opening here, so it's not like at all functional. Just a look there at the chains. More rippling muscles on this side. Insane quads. Valeria is attached. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are two steel pegs right up here, and they're about a 1/2 inch long, but they're solid steel, super rigid steel. And then Conan has, I believe it's 2 pegs, 1 and 1. Can't remember right now. That's terrible, right? But his boots look great, and it's a perfect fit. It is an absolutely perfect fit. You just have to make sure that you have the figure aligned perfectly, but they fit perfectly snug. This is my first statue, actual statue, not like a hollow plastic statue, kind of like my Captain America back there. This is my first actual statue in my collection. So I don't know anything about statues, but I'll tell you, this doesn't feel like plastic or anything. It feels like stone. You know, I know I've heard the phrase polystone. I don't know much about it, but this is really hard stuff. And there's a weight to it. There's a substantial weight to it, including the base. Even if there is a cavity in the inside of this base, it is extremely, extremely solid and heavy for its size. Give you a look at what we got going on down here. Beautiful painting, some multiple shades there with the gold. See the magnet feature there. And the emerald or jade medallion. Very dope, bro. Nice substantial piece of plastic. And this is a strong magnet despite being so small. We've got some roots going there. We've got some pillars. Pretty much the same design going on all around. All right, let's take a look at some of the removable parts. The dramatic angle there for you. So these pieces are removable, but they're not like intended like as accessories. These are just statue pieces that you assemble, and they're attached by magnets. And here we have Valeria's sword. Beautiful flowing lines. Look at her hilt there. And the magnets on either side, the pommel. There we go. Now it's perfectly snapped. She looks absolutely stunning. This thing is a winner chicken dinner. All right, does her portrait come off? Nope, it does not. I was wrong. See, I didn't remember because it doesn't. So she's just one full solid piece, and you attach her sword. Conan, on the other hand, his portrait does come off, as does the Atlantean. And looking up close, man, they got that likeness down. That is Arnold, bro. They nailed it. Those jowls around the side of his mouth, and just sick, man. The gauntness there underneath his cheekbones. Just barbarianed out. This looks like leather. We've got some stitching. A massive, massive mane of flowing hair. I mean, this thing is massive. Sculpted beautifully. Some nice highlights with some shading there. Spiky, spiky. The Wheel of Pain. Silver and gold in this case. Nice close-up look here of the Atlantean. And I can tell you, having the replica, the authentic replica there in the back, they did a great job. They really did a great job getting some really minute details onto the hilt. The etching there in between this portion of the hilt. I don't remember what these are called right now, but it looks absolutely wonderful. Nice flowing lines. Even this geometry here with the lines is accurate to the sword there in the background. I will say, though, in terms of accuracy and in terms of also just being fair, the pommel is not completely accurate to the sword. And I'll show you that there in the back. You can kind of like just see, even though it's a bit blurry. But what's going on there on the actual pommel, I believe that's a reed ship with a skull resting on it. And in the background, there is a mountain. But overall, this thing is very, very true to the sword itself. And it looks absolutely wonderful. For today's themed comparison, which I didn't mention before the transition, I'm just going to bring out some of the figures I have. This figure here is a custom original from an artist in Chile. And he made this. It's also using a magnet system. And of course, it is an original take on Conan. And I think it's so dope. I saw it online, Instagram, and I connected with him, and I think the guy is so awesome. He makes really cool, original, custom 5 POAs. And here we've got a Conan. I'll also bring out, or at least I should say bring him to the front, Super 7 Subutai. One of only like a handful, maybe like 3 Subutai figures ever made, and I have all 3. And then we've got some other Conan figures in the back. We've got some Mezco action back here with Conan the Barbarian. We've got Thulsa Doom from Super 7, comic book Conan from Super 7, some of the movie version Conans over here, and then some more reaction figures. Huge Conan fan, in case you couldn't tell. Back here also for today's theme comparison, my original Atlantean sword from Albion Armorers. Got this way back in like 2003 after pre-ordering it online for about 2 years. And that thing is an absolute beauty. Production overseen by Jody Sampson himself. And I've got it there in the original case. This is the logo right here for Albion Armorers. They are still in business, and I hear they have a reputation for making the best replica swords. And I am one satisfied customer. Look at that shot there. Give you another shot like this. Boom. Super happy with this piece. I'm taken back by the impressiveness of the sculpting. His physique looks just like the poster. It looks like Arnold. Something occurred to me when I was looking at this particular iteration of Conan is that there's no action figure for this version. As always, everybody, thank you so much for coming out and sharing in the experience of collecting toys as an adult. Until next time, everybody, thank goodness it's playtime.